Hello and welcome to Courts Today by Live Law. Let us get to today's top legal updates. The Supreme Court is set to decide and consider whether match fixing is a criminal offense. The Bar Council of India is going to set up a committee led by an ex-Chief Justice of India on 1 year and 2 year LLM equivalency. The centre has imposed a 12% temporary tariff on certain steel imports and the duty is valid for 200 days. The Delhi High Court has granted temporary injunction to famous logistics company Agarwal Packers and Movers against trademark infringement by fake website. The Supreme Court has rejected Kerala IAS officer Raju Narayan Swami's plea for promotion to Chief Secretary grade. And the Supreme Court has refused to stall Bihar Public Services Commission mains exams and dismissed the petitions alleging paper leak. I'm Urvashi Chauhan bringing you the important legal updates of the day, quick, crisp, and to the point. Watch till the end, and if you find this update valuable, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Before I get to the details, here is an exciting opportunity for the judiciary aspirants. Live Law Academy, Live Law's judiciary coaching initiative, has opened registrations for its May batch. You get to choose from two tailored courses now. First, Jessup 2.0, a comprehensive 18-month online program covering everything you need to crack the judiciary exam, taught by an expert panel including retired judges. And Jessup Lite, a flexible, weekday-only program for those who prefer a structured yet lighter approach. Sign up today and get an exclusive 25% early bird discount. Plus, enjoy free Live Law subscriptions, case compilations, and much more. Don't miss this opportunity and enroll today at www.livelawacademy.in. The top court is now set to examine a contentious issue of whether match fixing can be treated as a criminal offense under Indian law. A bench of Justices Suryakant and N.K. Singh has appointed Advocate Shivam Singh as amicus curiae to assist the court in a case involving the alleged fixing of a cricket match during the 2019 Karnataka Premier League. The matter is listed for detailed hearing on 27th July. Let me tell you, the case stems from a charge sheet filed by Karnataka police against cricketers CM Gautam and Abrar Kasi. The two players were accused of accepting 20 lakh from bookies to bat slowly during the finals, allegedly helping the Hubli Tigers secure a narrow win. The charges were filed under Section 420 of the IPC, which deals with cheating and dishonestly inducing delivery of property. However, the Karnataka High Court later quashed the proceedings, observing that while match fixing may amount to dishonestly or moral wrongdoing, it does not fulfill the legal criteria for a criminal offense under Section 420. The court had further observed that disciplinary action could be taken by the BCCI under its internal rules, but a criminal prosecution was not justified based on the facts presented. Challenging this view, the Karnataka government has approached the Supreme Court, which will now consider whether such acts, despite being governed by cricketing bodies, can also be treated as criminal misconduct affecting public trust. With the hearing scheduled for 27th July now, all eyes will be whether the top court expands the scope of criminal law in the context of sports integrity and betting. Stay tuned. In a significant move aimed at resolving the long-standing debate over 1 year versus 2 year LLM degrees, the Bar Council of India has announced formation of a high-level committee headed by a former Chief Justice of India. This issue, as you know, dates back to 2020 when the BCI introduced legal education rules that stated a 1 year LLM degree, especially from foreign universities, would not be treated as equivalent to an Indian LLM unless the individual completes a year of teaching as a visiting or clinical faculty member. In March 2021, BCI told the Supreme Court that these rules would not be implemented immediately. However, the controversy lingered due to further circulars that still insisted on teaching experiences for those holding the 1 year LLM degrees. Then last year in February, the Supreme Court once again raised concerns about this mandate and directed that a discussion be held with all stakeholders. Acting on this, BCI convened a joint stakeholder meeting on April 22nd. The meeting was chaired by the president of NLU Consortium, Professor V.C. Vivekanandan, and was attended by vice chancellors, deans, and faculty from national law universities, state and central universities, and affiliated law colleges. At the meeting, several NLUs expressed their support for continuing the 1 year LLM program, but also stressed the need to increase its academic rigor. Some participants suggested embedding pedagogical training with 1 year course itself. However, this idea was opposed by others who felt it could make the course too demanding and push students towards opting for the 2-year LLM program instead. Following the discussions, the BCI has now decided to set up a committee that will not only explore the possibility of equating 1-year and 2-year LLM degrees, but also design a framework for structured pedagogical training and harmonization of postgraduate curricula across the country. The committee will be led by a former Chief Justice of India, with a noted academician as the co-convener, and will include members from all types of law institutions in India. The BCI also reiterated that for now, the 1-year LLM degree would only be treated as equivalent to a 2-year degree for teaching roles if the holder completes a 6-month teaching training program. For higher academic positions like associate professor or professor, an additional 6 months of training is recommended even for those with a PhD. To protect domestic steel manufacturers from a surge in cheap imports, the Government of India has imposed a 12% safeguard duty on certain steel products for the next 200 days. In December last year, the Directorate General of Trade Remedies, or the DGTR, began investigating a sudden rise in imports of non-alloy and alloy steel flat products. The investigation followed a complaint filed by the Indian Steel Association and the Steel Authority of India Limited, who raised concerns about the impact of these imports on domestic producers. Last month, the DGTR recommended a 12% tariff on specific steel products for a limited period of 200 days. Acting on this recommendation, the Ministry of Finance officially imposed the safeguard duty effective from 21st April 2025. The duty applies to products such as cold rolled coil sheets, metallic coated and color coated steel sheets, hot rolled coils, and hot rolled mill plates, whether or not profiled. However, this duty will not be applicable if the products are imported at or above the specified import price on a cost insurance freight basis. According to Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy, the move is aimed at protecting small and medium-scale domestic steel producers who are struggling with rising import pressure and market instability. He described the safeguard duty as a critical and timely intervention that will help restore fair competition and industry confidence. The DGTR will closely monitor the impact of this safeguard duty in the coming months to determine its effectiveness in curbing import surges and supporting Indian steel manufacturers. The Delhi High Court has protected the brand identity of Agarwal Packers and Movers, issuing a temporary injunction against a business misusing its name. The case was brought by Agarwal Packers and Movers Limited, a well-known logistics company which sought a permanent injunction against the website agarwalmoverspackers.in for allegedly infringing its trademark and offering similar packaging and transport services. The difference was only in the spelling of the word Agarwal. The company argued that it has been providing a wide range of logistics and relocation services for over 35 years and enjoys a strong goodwill and recognition in India and internationally. With over 1,200 employees and a network in 1,264 Indian locations and 182 countries, and a fleet of more than 4,600 vehicles, it claimed that its name has become synonymous with quality service in the logistics industry. The company's trademark, Agarwal Packers and Movers, has been registered since 2004 with users' rights dating back to 1988. It alleged that the defendant, using the name Agarwal Cargo Packers and Movers, was running fraudulent websites and attempting to pass off their services as being connected to the plaintiff. Justice Amit Bansal, after reviewing the material, observed that the defendant's domain name was virtually identical to that of plaintiffs and likely to confuse the customers. The court found a prima facie case of infringement and passing off, stating that the defendant's actions were likely to mislead the public. The court ruled in favor of Agarwal Packers, and granting a temporary injunction, it has restrained the defendant from using, advertising, or selling any services under the disputed name. It has also ordered the suspension of the impugned domain name and directed authorities to block associated phone numbers and deactivate the linked UPI IDs. Kerala cadre IAS officer Dr. Raju Narayan Swamy's bid for promotion to the Chief Secretary rank has come to an end for now. The Supreme Court today upheld the Kerala High Court's decision rejecting his plea for promotion, citing incomplete performance records. A bench of Justices P.S. Narasimha and Joy Malya Bagchi refused to interfere with the High Court's ruling, which found that Dr. Swamy had failed to meet a key eligibility condition, that is, completion of at least 90% of his annual confidential reports, or the ACRs. The court emphasized that without these performance records, the screening committee could not properly assess his candidature for promotion to the apex scale. Dr. Swamy, a 1991 batch officer with an otherwise unblemished record, had initially moved the Central Administrative Tribunal. When his plea was dismissed there, he approached the Kerala High Court and then the Supreme Court. He argued that he was not seeking direct appointment as Chief Secretary, but eligibility for promotion based on his long years of service and clean record. However, the courts consistently held that the absence of 90% of ACRs was a procedural roadblock that could not be ignored. While the Supreme Court has dismissed his plea, Dr. Swamy still has the liberty to pursue promotion once the requisite ACRs are in place. And lastly, the Supreme Court has today refused to stay the Bihar Public Service Commission's main examination scheduled for 25th April, despite allegations of a paper leak during the preliminary stage held in December 2024. A bench comprising Justice Dipankar Datta and Justice Manmohan dismissed a batch of petitions challenging the 70th combined competitive exams conducted by the BPSC. The petitions were filed on the grounds that the question paper had been leaked through WhatsApp messages and that answers were allegedly announced through loudspeakers at certain centers. The petitioners, represented by senior advocates Anjana Prakash and Colin Gonzalez, also relied on video clips which were viewed by the court during the hearing. The bench, however, noted that the allegations of malpractice were limited to a single exam center, that is Bapu Pariksha Parisar, where a re-examination had already been conducted. It further observed that even according to the petitioners, the alleged leak occurred after candidates had entered the exam halls. When pressed on the lack of certainty around this claim, the bench maintained that in the absence of concrete and verifiable evidence, the exam process could not be invalidated. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing for the state of Bihar and the BPSC, informed the court that the exam had 4 different sets of papers with jumbled questions and that only 2 of the 150 questions were found to be identical to those used by coaching institutes. The court found no irregularity in that, stating that it is common for competitive exams to feature questions similar to those in mock tests or booklets used by coaching centers. Justice Manmohan remarked that the current environment of distrust was harming the credibility of examinations and that the standard of proof required to cancel such a large-scale exam had not been met in this case. He added that no examination process could be allowed to collapse based on speculative claims. Let me tell you, nearly 5 lakh candidates had appeared for the preliminary examination across 900 centers in December 2024. While protesters have been demanding cancellation of the entire exam, the BPSC had limited the retest to only 10,000 candidates who appeared at the allegedly compromised center. With the Supreme Court's refusal to interfere, the mains examination will now proceed as scheduled.